For decades, we've been fed a dangerous lie, the latte factor. It's the seductive, simple story that suggests the reason you can't get ahead financially is that you spend $5 on coffee every morning. This advice is not just misleading. It's an active diversion tactic that scapegoats small joys while distracting you from the systemic issues and emotional roadblocks that truly keep you poor. The latte factor requires minimal effort, deprivation, and provides maximal comfort, the feeling that you are doing something, even if that something is completely ineffective. We focus fiercely on stopping the leakage from the tiny holes, completely ignoring the fact that the entire bottom of the bucket is missing. We need to stop focusing on the cost of the coffee and start confronting the real cost of avoidance.
Why is the latte factor so universally appealing? Because it offers a tangible, immediate target for sacrifice. It's an easy win that requires you to give up something small and visible. But by focusing on the $1,800 you spend annually on coffee, you successfully avoid confronting the far more terrifying, complex issues, perhaps $25,000 in high-interest credit card debt, or paying 35% of your income for suboptimal housing. These big problems require difficult conversations, significant sacrifice, and deep dives into your own financial fears. The latte is the perfect distraction, a financial security blanket that lets you feel disciplined while continuing to bleed cash on the large, immovable expenses that define true financial ruin.
Let's look at the math, which is the foundational pillar of Investment 101. If you cut out your $5 coffee every day for a year, you save approximately $1,825. That sounds significant until you compare it to the real wealth destroyers. If your housing payment is $2,500 a month and you are overpaying by just $300 because you never bothered to refinance or negotiate, that single mistake costs you $3,600 a year, double the latte factor. If you have $10,000 in credit card debt at 25,
If the math is so obvious, why do smart people continue to obsess over small cuts? The real culprit is money shame. Shame is the deep, pervasive feeling that I am fundamentally bad, unworthy, or flawed because of my financial situation. It's the voice that whispers, "You're irresponsible," or "You'll never get ahead." Crucially, shame is paralyzing. It stops you from opening the bank statement, applying for better jobs, or asking for help. You hide the debt, you avoid the audit, and you maintain the chaos because confronting the numbers means confronting the shame, and that feels unbearable. We treat financial struggle as a moral failing instead of a procedural problem that requires technical solutions. Until we address this emotional barrier, no budget app in the world can save you.
it is essential to distinguish between shame and guilt. Guilt says, I did a bad thing, like accruing debt. Guilt is productive because it motivates correction and change. Shame says, I am a bad person. Shame is destructive because it locks you into inaction. When you are feeling guilty, you might call your credit card company to negotiate. When you are feeling shame, you ignore the calls, hide the bills, and double down on avoidance. The latte factor advice weaponizes the shame. It tells you that your failure is due to a fundamental, silly lack of discipline, deepening the feeling that you are simply too flawed to handle money. We must transition from self-recrimination to self-observation. You must approach your finances with the objective curiosity of a scientist, not the punitive judgment of a moral authority. This cycle of shame directly feeds the impulse to chase small, irrelevant savings. Because we feel so fundamentally bad about the massive debt or the stagnant income, we seek immediate, small acts of redemption. Cutting the latte feels like a quick moral victory, a tiny bandage placed over a catastrophic wound. But here is the tragic irony. The shame you feel about your massive financial mess often leads to increased impulsive spending. You purchase small items, often non-essential, as a way to soothe the discomfort of that shame. That $5 coffee isn't the problem. It's the $40 impulsive Amazon order made because you felt paralyzed and terrible after realizing the scale of your mortgage interest payment. The quick fix is emotional, not financial. True financial discipline means focusing your energy where it yields the highest return. This is the 80-20 rule applied to your budget. The 20% of decisions that cause 80% of your financial pain are typically housing, transportation, and high-interest consumer debt. Moving house, selling a car, or aggressively negotiating a debt consolidation loan are complex, painful, and require massive emotional and physical effort. They force you to face reality head-on, which is why money shame drives us to avoid them. You must treat these expenses like the high-leverage investment decisions they are. If refinancing your mortgage saves you $400 a month, that is equivalent to cutting out 80 lattes. This is where the effort belongs, not in microwaving your coffee beans at home. The first essential practical step to overcoming money shame is the shame-free audit. This requires radical honesty. Sit down and look at the numbers. Every dollar coming in, every dollar going out, without judgment. Do not attach any moral narrative to the data. View it purely as information. If you spent $500 on delivery apps last month, do not chastise yourself. Simply register the number. This observation is the vaccine against shame. Shame thrives in secrecy and avoidance. Observation brings clarity and perspective. You cannot fix what you refuse to see. Once you have a clear, non-emotional data set, you can start making strategic decisions based on reality, not based on the fear-driven narratives you inherited or created. Next, you must reframe your relationship with your budget. Stop viewing the budget as a tool for deprivation or a historical record used to punish past mistakes. A budget is simply a proactive spending plan, a forward-looking permission slip. It gives you permission to spend money on things that align with your values, whether that's investing, saving for a down payment, or yes, even buying a coffee if it brings you joy and fits the plan. Crucially, it gives you permission to say no to non-aligned expenses without guilt. When you define your money's purpose before you spend it, the impulse decisions lose their power. You are not cutting costs because you should. You are aligning spending with your highest financial goals. The most powerful weapon against the emotional paralysis of money shame is automation. If you automate your savings, investments, and debt payments immediately upon receiving income, you create structural protection against poor emotional decisions. You are essentially paying your future self first before shame or impulsive desires can interfere. Automation forces discipline by making the desired action the default action. This is the core principle of sound investment strategies: consistent, automatic contribution, regardless of daily market fluctuations or momentary feelings of scarcity. Set it up so that your investment accounts receive funds the day after payday, removing the friction and emotional bandwidth required for manual transfers. Finally, shift your mindset from one of deprivation to one of growth. The latte factor focuses on what you must give up, a mindset rooted in scarcity. Investment thinking focuses on what you are building, a mindset rooted in opportunity. Every dollar you strategically save or invest isn't a sacrifice. It is a small soldier you are sending out to earn more for you in the future. Embrace the concept of future you. Future you desperately needs you to pay down that 25% debt now, and future you needs you to contribute to that index fund consistently. This perspective shift transforms financial discipline from austerity into empowerment, allowing you to view your big, uncomfortable choices as acts of profound self-respect and planning for abundance. It's time to retire the latte factor myth. Your daily coffee is not making you broke. The avoidance, the shame, and the failure to address the high leverage costs, that is what is holding you back. Financial success is not built on tiny acts of sacrifice. It is built on massive, strategic, shame-free actions. Face the numbers, focus on the big wins, automate your future, and shift your mindset to growth. You have the power to stop the cycle of avoidance and start building real wealth today. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more updates on financial strategies that actually work. Thank you for watching.